It was the second time she told me not to worry about him. First time, I let it go, chalked it up to insecurity whispering in my ear, the kind of doubt that creeps in when the person you love lights up around someone else. The guy from work, she said. Darren. I remember his name because I made a joke about it. Darren? What is he, a cartoon villain? She laughed, kissed my cheek, said I was being ridiculous. But the second time she told me not to worry, it hit different. I didn't say anything then, either. Just nodded, swallowed the lump in my throat, and told myself I trusted her. Because I did. I really did. Until I didn't. It was a Sunday afternoon. I'd just gotten back from a run, sweating and winded, when I saw her Instagram story. A quick clip, 10 seconds, nothing special. Her laughing at a bar with friends, the usual filters, a little sparkle in the corners. She looked beautiful, honestly. And then, at the end, barely 2 seconds, the camera panned past a man at the other end of the booth, head tilted back in laughter, his arm around someone not quite in frame. He was wearing my hoodie. My hoodie. The charcoal gray one with the frayed cuffs. The one I'd had since college. The one she used to sleep in whenever I was out of town. I froze, sweat cooling on my skin, heart thudding a little harder than it should have. I watched the story again, and again, and again. She hadn't posted a caption, but she'd tagged the bar. I clicked the tag, scanned the other stories, looked for faces. One post from someone else, her coworker, I think, showed the whole group in a blurry photo. And there he was. Darren, arm around her waist this time. Same hoodie, same easy smile. That's when I commented. 2 words. Nice fit. Sent it. Read it once more. Then blocked them both. Phone off. Threw it on the counter. Took a shower in silence. I'm not the kind of man who jumps to conclusions. I'm not proud of the way I reacted, but something about seeing him in that hoodie, something that had belonged to me, lived with me, soaked up my sweat, my memories, it cracked something open. Because that hoodie wasn't just fabric. It was history. Our history. And she gave it to someone else like it was nothing. When I got out of the shower, I half expected to see a message. A call. Something. But there was nothing. Just the dull hum of the fridge, the ticking of the wall clock, the kind of silence that wraps around you like fog. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying moments I'd brushed off. Like that time 2 months ago, when she started staying late for work dinners. Said they were networking events. That night she came home tipsy, cheeks flushed, and said Darren had the funniest impression of their boss. Or that Wednesday, she claimed she left her charger at work and had to go back. Took her over an hour. Or how she used to wear that hoodie when she missed me. And then, without explanation, stopped wearing it altogether. I remember asking her about it, lighthearted. You get tired of stealing my clothes? She smiled, didn't meet my eyes, said, it just doesn't smell like you anymore. That line, it haunted me. Because now I know why. I didn't say anything for 3 days. I didn't see her much, either. She had late meetings. Long week, she said, voice casual as she moved around the apartment like nothing had changed. Like she hadn't handed over a piece of me to someone else. I wanted to confront her. Wanted to scream, to shake the truth out of her. But instead, I started watching. Small things. How she angled her phone away when I walked into the room. How she'd linger in the bathroom with the water running. The way she hesitated before answering my questions. Not like she was lying, but like she was choosing her words too carefully. I started checking timestamps. Calendar invites. Parking lot cameras at her office. A friend of mine works security at the building. He owed me a favor. That's how I found out about the nights she said she was working late, when her car never even left the lot. That's how I learned she'd left with him. Twice. Maybe more. Still, I didn't confront her. Instead, I walked into our closet one morning before work, took inventory of what was missing. Hoodies, t-shirts, even a pair of old basketball shorts I hadn't seen in months. Stuff she used to borrow, used to laugh in, sleep in, wear on lazy Sundays. Gone. Like I never existed in her comfort. Like I'd been replaced. And the worst part? She didn't even try to hide it. Not really. That Instagram story wasn't an accident. It was a test. Or maybe a message. Or maybe she just didn't care anymore. It's funny, what you start to notice once your eyes adjust to betrayal. How the warmth in someone's voice dulls. How their hugs shift from full-bodied to polite. How their laughter no longer wraps around your name the same way it used to. I once thought love was about trust. That if you loved someone enough, the trust would always carry you through. But what they don't tell you is this. Sometimes, love keeps you blind long after the truth becomes obvious. And sometimes, it's not until you see another man wearing your memories that you finally wake up. The morning after I blocked her, I expected a storm. Some sort of reaction. A knock on the bathroom door, a half-panicked. Why did you block me? A thrown pillow. A tear. Something. Instead, nothing. We moved around the apartment like ghosts. Like two actors in a scene we'd performed so many times we no longer needed to speak the lines. She made coffee. I made toast. She kissed me on the cheek, mumbled, "Have a good day," like she hadn't handed over a piece of my soul to a man named Darren. And I let her. I let her pretend we were fine. But inside, I was somewhere else entirely. Somewhere cold. Calculating. I'd never felt that kind of detachment before, like my heart had packed up and moved out before I ever had the courage to follow. That night, I stayed late at work. Sat in my car after everyone left the office, staring at nothing. I didn't even turn the engine on. Just sat there, hands in my lap, breathing slow, remembering all the things I didn't want to remember. The first time she wore that hoodie. On a rainy Saturday, curled up on the couch with her knees tucked under her. The sleeves swallowed her hands. She looked like a child playing grown-up. She said it smelled like safety. And now some other guy wore it like it belonged to him. I didn't cry. I wanted to. But the tears wouldn't come. Just this deep, quiet ache behind my ribs, like something sacred had been carved out of me. I needed proof. Not for her. I already knew. But for myself. So that when this ended, when I finally walked away, I wouldn't second-guess it. So I opened an old email. A guy I knew from back in college, now a digital forensic specialist. We hadn't talked in years, but I still had his contact. I wrote one line. "How deep can you dig into a deleted Instagram story?" He replied within the hour. "If you have the username, I can give you metadata. Maybe some chat logs." Why? I didn't answer that part. Just sent her handle. The next morning, while she was still asleep, a zip file landed in my inbox. I opened it in silence. Photos, screenshots, timestamped logs, messages between her and him. Nothing overt. Nothing incriminating at first. Just jokes. Inside references. One message from Darren. "You always look better in his clothes than he does." Her reply. "Don't tell him that. He still thinks they're his." That one hit like a gut punch. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours, every breath shallow. Not just betrayal, but mockery. That was the part one hadn't expected, that she could turn me into a joke. I didn't confront her that morning either. I just sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee while she did her makeup in the hallway mirror. She smiled at me, this effortless, practiced smile that used to make me feel like I was home. Now it just felt like a mask. "Big day today," she said, slipping her shoes on. "We've got the quarterly pitch. Darren's leading." I nodded. "Tell him the hoodie fits." She froze for a half second. A flicker of something, surprise, guilt, anger, passed across her face, but she covered it well. "What?" "Nothing." I stood, rinsed my mug. "Good luck." She didn't say anything. Just left. No kiss goodbye this time. That night, the door didn't open until well past midnight. I was on the couch, lights off, TV playing some crime drama I wasn't really watching. She walked in like a thief. Quiet. Careful. "Hey," she said, dropping her bag. "Sorry it ran late." I didn't look at her. "You should really stop posting stories when you're drinking." Silence. Then, soft. "What do you mean?" "I saw him," I said, eyes still on the screen. "The guy from work. The one I wasn't supposed to worry about. Wearing my hoodie." She sat down slowly across from me. "It's not what you think." I turned to her then. Calm. Steady. "Then tell me what it is." And that's when the lie came. I watched it form before she even opened her mouth. The way her eyes shifted, the way her hand moved instinctively to her throat, like she was adjusting an invisible necklace. "He spilled something at work," she said, "and I gave it to him. Just to wear until his shirt dried. That's all." I nodded. "And the arm around your waist in the second video?" Her face paled. I pulled out my phone, opened the forensic report, held it up without saying a word. Watched her read. Watched the blood drain from her cheeks. "You went through my stuff?" "No," I said. "I went through what you made public. The part you forgot to delete fast enough." Her voice cracked. "You don't understand. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake." I finished for her. She nodded. I stood, walked past her toward the hallway. "You know what the worst part is?" I said, pausing in the doorway. "It's not that you cheated. It's not even that you lied. She looked up, eyes wide and wet. It's that you made a fool out of me, I said. You wore my love like a costume and gave it away like a thrift store donation. She didn't follow me, didn't call after me. She just sat there, alone in the dim glow of the TV, the truth finally louder than the lies. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor, letting her soft cries from the living room bleed through the closed door like a sad radio I couldn't switch off. I thought about packing a bag. I thought about grabbing my keys and just driving. But I didn't. Not yet. Some part of me still wanted her to say something that made it all make sense. Some desperate part of me was waiting for her to fight for us, to say she messed up, that she'd do anything to fix it. But she didn't. In the morning, I found her in the kitchen, wrapped in a blanket, sipping coffee like nothing had shattered. Her eyes were puffy, her voice small. I'm sorry, she said. And maybe she was. But sorry isn't glue. It doesn't patch the cracks you can't stop stepping on. It doesn't make the hoodie shrink back to my chest. It doesn't erase the messages or the second story video or the slow decay of trust one thought was unbreakable. Why him? I asked, not angrily, just tired. She looked down into her mug like the answer was floating in her coffee. I don't know, she said. He made me feel like I still had something left in me. Like I wasn't just. She stopped herself. But I knew where that sentence was headed. Like I wasn't just yours. That hit harder than any confession. I think that's when I realized she hadn't fallen out of love with me because of Darren. She just slowly stopped seeing me. I had become background music. Predictable. Safe. The couch she curled up on. The faucet that never dripped. The hoodie she stopped wearing because it didn't feel like me anymore. But that's the thing about being someone's comfort. You never realize they've outgrown you until they're gone. I went to the closet later that day and pulled down an old duffel bag. Threw in the basics. Clothes, charger, the shaving kit she got me last Christmas. I left the hoodie. Let him have it. Let them have it. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed. So that's it. I zipped the bag slowly. Yeah, I said. That's it. She didn't cry. She just nodded. Like she'd already rehearsed this moment in her head a dozen times. Maybe she had. At the door, I turned back. Not for closure. Not for her. But for me. You know, I said, when I saw him wearing that hoodie, it wasn't the betrayal that hurt the most. She looked up, confused. It was that you gave away something that used to mean something. Like it never mattered at all. Like I never mattered. She opened her mouth to respond, but I didn't stay to hear it. I stepped outside, let the door click shut behind me, and walked away from the apartment we turned into a home, from the woman who once whispered, "Don't worry, it's just a coworker," like it was a lullaby. I walked away from the version of myself that kept waiting for her to come back. That evening, I checked into a small hotel just outside the city. Nothing fancy, just clean sheets and quiet. I opened my laptop and blocked her number, deleted our photo folder, took a long shower, washed her perfume out of my skin, and then I sat down and wrote. Not to her, to myself. Journal entry, October 9th. I missed the man I was when I still believed her. I missed the way I used to smile when her name popped up on my phone. I missed the hoodie she used to steal. I missed the blind hope. But what I don't miss is the silence between us. The way I stopped being seen. The way I bent backwards to protect something she'd already let die. She told me not to worry about the guy from work. I should have listened to my gut. But I didn't. Because I wanted to believe in her more than I believed in myself. Never again. They say grief comes in waves. But betrayal is a flood. It washes away everything you thought was solid and leaves you standing in the wreckage, wondering if it was ever real to begin with. Now, I live lighter, quieter, not bitter, not broken, just awake. Because when you finally stop asking why they did it, you start remembering who you were before they did. And maybe that's the real healing. Not getting them back, but getting you back.